In my 20s, I planned to take over the world with all my business ideas, be the next Richard Branson, but very quickly I realized you also need strategy and knowledge as well. In this video, I'll give you 5 steps to start out in property in your 20s. Hey, if you're watching my videos for the first time, my name is Saj Hussain, and on this channel I share with you my 15 years of property investing experience to ultimately help you get further faster in your own property investing journey. When it comes to getting started in property in your 20s, the first thing that we have to do is get absolutely clear with your goals in terms of what is it you're trying to achieve. Now, you might have heard this many times before, and most people think, yeah, I've got a goal, I'm very clear with my goal, I want to be a billionaire by the time I'm 30. I'm sure you do, and it's a nice goal to have. However, you've got to think practically, how is it you're going to achieve that? It's nice to have a vision, and I'm not for, stealing dreams, but you've got to be clear, how's that going to happen? You might have as a long-term vision, and I absolutely applaud you for having a big dream and big plans, but how is it going to happen? The how part is really important. But something that's even more important than that is how committed are you to that goal? Because it's very easy to say, and so many people say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and we're going to build this massive thing. That's fine, but how committed are you to that goal? Are you going to be jumping out of bed nice and early at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that you're focused, you're driven, you're building the knowledge that you need to do, you're learning, you're studying, you're committed to it, and are you driven to make it happen? Unfortunately, most people aren't. Most people are not doing what it takes to achieve massive goals, because you need to be obsessed with those goals. And if you are too far away from obsession of being obsessed with those goals, then I'm afraid I'm going to break the bad news to you in step 1. Unless you are absolutely obsessed with that goal, it's not going to happen. You've got to be at the point where you are absolutely driven, focused, and obsessed on achieving that goal, and that's the goal that you're going to achieve in property. Step 2 is the knowledge. How is it you're going to make this happen? You need the information, the knowledge, the understanding in how to do this. Now, in property, there are so many different ways to make money. And if you've been watching my YouTube videos for any time, you'll see that there's so many different strategies I've already spoken about on this channel in terms of how they work, the overview, what particular strategy you might want to use. And I've also talked about not all strategies will suit all people. So it's finding a strategy that's going to work for you, building that knowledge and understanding in terms of how it works. And sometimes you have to have a broader knowledge of property investing and an overview of different strategies in order to find the one that's going to be suitable for you and the best one for you. And now it's so much easier than it ever was. How do you build this knowledge? There's so many books that you can learn, you can read. There's so much available on the internet, on forums, on YouTube channels. Like, you're on one amazing YouTube channel right now, but there are so many other great channels as well. Maybe some not so good ones, but we won't talk about them. But some great channels that you can learn from. This information is there, it's available, it's at your fingertips should you want to learn. So I was talking to my daughter just a few days ago. She's 14 and she wants a cat. And I'm dead against pets in the house. Now, don't judge me. I'm just dead against having pets in the house. But I have said to her, I'm prepared to step back and allow her to have a cat if she reads 50 books in a year.
Huh?
Now, that's quite a tall challenge. However, she doesn't need to read them, she needs to consume them. So how can she do that? She's got my Audible account, so she could be using Audible to listen to them. Now, when you start listening to books, for example, when you want to consume things quickly, you can listen on 1.5 speed, you can watch YouTube channel at 2 speed as well. Now, some people that talk quickly like me anyway, and you put me on 2 speed, you're going to struggle to understand what I'm saying. But your ear will tune into when you're listening to things. So you start off at 1 speed, you go to 2.5, then you go to 1.5, 1.75, and eventually you'll get to 2 speed where you can consume information so much faster. If you spend 1 hour a day, just whilst you're getting ready, you've got your headphones on in the morning, by the time you get up, get ready, have breakfast, before you get ready to do whatever you do in the day, you could consume an hours of content on 2 speed. That's 2 hours of knowledge. If you just did that every single day, I promise you the amount of knowledge and information that you will build will massively accelerate your journey. So the power of knowledge is really important. Most people won't put the time and effort in required to gain that knowledge, but it is so easy. It's there at your fingertips. We can build all the knowledge that we want. However, knowledge in itself is not enough. You've got to go out and do something with that information. You've got to implement that information in order to test it, tweak it, and start getting some results from that. But when we start implementing the knowledge, the theory is great. In theory, they said you've just got to go out and find a below market value deal. You've just got to put a few leaflets to the door, and hey presto, people are going to be ringing you, giving you their property for next to nothing. Well, it's a little bit more to it than that. But you realize that when you actually start getting out there, you start speaking to people, you start doing these leaflets, there's a technicality start coming up. What do I do in this situation? How does that work? And this is where you've got to surround yourself with people that are on the same mission as you. They've got the same objectives, the same things they're trying to achieve. You've got people that will support you in what is it that you're trying to achieve. Now, too often we'll surround ourselves with people who are not really serving us. And I'm not saying you should get rid of all your friends right now, but I'm just saying think about who is it that's around you. How are they serving you and supporting you in your goals and in your objectives and what is it you're trying to achieve? Because if you have that support around you, you get energized, you get a buzz off that, you bounce off each other, you support each other, you get so much more further. And this is one of the reasons why, I run property networking events, I've run mentoring groups and training programs, is really to create that group, that community that can help and support each other. When I started out in property, there were so many people that were helpful and amazing in my journey and supported even that. And I'm just so eternally grateful for that support that I got. My background is in IT, and when I was running an IT business, we sold the information, the knowledge that we had on how to build the networks, how to get things to work, how to get that piece of kit to talk to this computer equipment over here. That was the knowledge and experience we had, and that's what we sold. And in my experience of that is we kept that close to our chest. We didn't share that with anybody unless people were paying us for that. But when I came into property, people are so open, they're so helpful, they're so supportive. I just couldn't get my head around that. And that's really something I've taken to heart, and now I do as much as I can to do that to help other people. But regardless of where you are, you can surround yourself with people that understand you, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, so that you are with people that fully understand you. That may not be in person, that could be virtually as well, but at least they're there for you. So having the right people around you and the support is critical in making this work. Number 4, you are gonna hate me for this one. Why are you wasting your money? Why are you buying those crazy trainers? Why are you buying that latest iPhone when you don't need it? Why are you spending £100 on a t-shirt when it's not necessary? We're doing it because we like to look good, because we appreciate what other people think about us and what they say about us. But ultimately what we're doing, we're getting sucked into materialism and we're wasting this money. My belief is if you build a business, if you build the assets, that will then make you money, and that's the money that you should be spending to live on. You don't spend the money that you earn in this way. It's frivolous, because most people that have a job, the job, if you're not already aware, the acronym stands for just over broke. It means that every month is designed to put you in a position that you have no more, that you have to go back and you have to keep earning. And once you've got that mortgage, you've got to pay the mortgage and other financial commitments, a car, and the people fall into this trap. Most people do. But I don't want you to be most people. I want you to think beyond that. How can you create the life you want? And the first thing you've got to do is stop wasting money. Think about assets, think about owning assets that are going to make you money, and then you spend the money off that. So we're going to do a little competition. How much do you think we paid for this t-shirt? A little clue. There's no logo here. That means I'm not going to pay to buy something that I'm going to advertise somebody else's product. No, it's not going to happen. So put comments below. I have a nice prize for the one that gets closest to that. Number 5, this one is so important. Having said that, they are all important. But when it comes to property investing, one of the things that's really important is be able to find the funds to be able to do deals, because in property, you're not buying suites, you're not buying 10-pen suites, you are buying property assets that are hundreds of thousands of pounds. And often you don't have that money. Most of the time you're not going to have that money. So you need to be able to attract that money to you. You need to be somebody who can manage that money. You need to understand the money, and that's why people are going to lend you that money. That's why the banks are going to give you that money, because they sense and recognize that you understand money. And one of the most basic ways to do that, which is some things I see many people in their 20s not thinking about, is that's their credit file. You should guard your credit file with your life, because your credit file is a record of how it is that you're spending, borrowing money and repaying that money. So even if you're somebody that's very good with money and you don't take any credit, you need to understand how credit files work, because these are really important when it comes to starting to borrow money for property investing. Here's the thing, you might be in your 20s and you're listening and watching this video right now. But this can apply at any age. You don't have to wait till you get to your 20s to start getting involved in property. You know, I know people that started when they were 16 and 15 years old. In fact, Habib, shout out to him down in London, 15 years old. He was writing a book on how to invest in property, the service accommodation in London. We'll try and link up his Instagram below for you to have a look at. But the point I'm trying to make is at any age you can start. You might not legally be able to own property until you're 18, but you can learn about what's required and how to get involved in property, and also understand that you can control property without even owning it to make you money. It comes back to what I was saying earlier about having assets that create you money, and that's the money you spend. You create the assets, they generate you money, and that's what you live on. So hopefully this is making sense. But something really important I mentioned earlier on about credit file. If you want to learn more about how to build and protect your credit file and build your credit score, then make sure you watch this video just over here. But just before you do that, make sure you click on my face down here to subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you on this video over here.